What the hell was going on? She was like, yo, it's about to go down, yo, it's really about to go.
Hello, hello. Okay, so I can see my students being on time. Good evening, everyone. Let's give a couple of more minutes and see who else is gonna show up. Otherwise, we're just gonna continue. It's just 5 right now. Oh. Solves computer scheduling. Oh. Okay, so before we begin, do you guys have any questions? Oh, okay. So seems like we do not have questions, so that's good. If you happen to think about and you want to ask me a question later on, welcome. Okay. So let's continue with these schedules or scheduling systems. So we talk about the importance of making schedules. Remember, in an office, it's going to keep the workflow organized. So we don't want a madhouse in our office. We don't want these patients all over the place. But once again, we're going to discuss those methods that we're going to have and those types of appointments so we can keep these patients at bay, because this is very important for us. In order for us to have an office that works efficiently, we have to have some type of organization. And for the patient's arrival, we have to have some type of scheduling methods. So there are two common methods that we use, whether in a hospital, whether in a medical office, that it is computer-based scheduling or we have an appointment book. So back in the days, most of the schedule, not most of the scheduling, every single scheduling was done on paper. So we have an appointment book. One of the things that you have to understand is that, these appointment books, you might think, well, we need a pen to write on it, right? But it's not the case. When you are using these paper-based appointment books, we're going to use a pencil. And we're going to use a pencil, a black pencil, and a red pencil. I will explain you why. This is not used anymore. There are very few offices probably that still are keeping this type of scheduling methods. Most of the people right now has transferred to computer-based scheduling, not only for the schedules, but for the patient's medical records as well. It's a lot easier. Believe me, it's a lot easier. We're going to see what are the advantage of using computers and what is the disadvantage of using appointment books. And you will see a huge difference for the whole purpose of keeping our office organized. So that's basically how it works. So appointment books. So now appointment books, you can have it of any type. There were tons of different appointment books. So again, you decide if you want it in color, if you want it black and white. So that was all depends of, your practice, or the person who decides to have either or black and white, or just plain, or just have it in colors. I'm gonna show you a little taste of what I'm talking about. Here it is. So these are appointment books. So you can have it whether in colors, when you're gonna select whether the doctors, these colors right here is to signal or to type or to document which are the providers that are working. And here at the beginning, we're gonna place the name of the patients and the time that they're gonna be seen, just like shows in this one that is plain, black and white, and this one's in color. So that's basically what it is. So hopefully you don't run, into one of these offices when they use paper, but if you do, well, you just gonna get used to it. It's easy, but it has a little more problems. Remember, it's paper, you have to be writing down, you have to write very legible, very clear, so whoever checks these appointments, they can see, they can read it. Remember, this is like when we're writing on the medical records, paper medical records, the patient's history. Sometimes the handwriting is very difficult to understand. It's not illegible. So for that reason, we move to a type kind of systems, which is computerized. So that's a major change. And for legal reasons, it has to be used that way. But still, having some appointment books, remember. So again, the type of the size of the book or the color, the preference depends of who is the manager, who is the doctor, or who decide to buy them. Remember, it has to be, it doesn't matter the color or not, it's just preferences. So it's just that has to be large enough, depends on the amount of patients that you have in your practice. You don't want to have something very small and then you have to flip pages continuously. No, you want to have a page that you can kind of enter all the hours of the office hours. So you don't have to be flipping pages to go for the same day appointments to go to the next page. That's basically what it's trying to tell you. You're going to have a size of these booklets that are, related to the amount of patients that we're seeing per day, or the number of appointments that you want to record on those appointment books. So that's basically what it's not a big deal. Now it says right there that the book should open flat for easy writing and preferences. Of course, these booklets is not like a notebook. So sometimes it comes with this spiral ring, the whole thing, so it's a lot easier to open up. So that's basically what's telling you. Now it says, well, the booklet has to have space enough so you can enter the appropriate information for the patient, so you can fit right on those particular spots or slots or spaces, the name of the patient and the reason that the patient is there for the appointment. Of course, you have to have space. Remember, we have to be very brief. This is not to write a summary right there or an essay. No, Mr. Michael Smith, Mrs. Josephine Smith. That's it. Then the time, and then what is the reason? Chest pain, follow-up, new patient, complete physical exam. And you don't need to write it down. We use acronyms. So that's basically MP, new patient, established patient, ST, complete physical exam, then CPE. We're going to get used to all this language and all these terms that we use in the medical. If you need to explain a little more, you can write down chest pain, headache, backache or back pain, rash, something that happened to the patient. Remember, you don't have to explain everything. You can ask questions, but not every single question that the patient states, you are going to be writing it down on the chip complaint. No, you're just going to write down the patient is here for, you're not going to write down the patient is here for, no, chest pain. Chip complaint, CC, chip complaint, chest pain. Others will say reason for the visit. Well, it's the same thing. So very simple, straightforward. To make appointments is not a big deal. To write things down is just to make sure that you cannot write legible. If you're not legible, then you're not going to be able to read it. And you have to use the spaces for each patient according to the patient's time that is being given, depending on the symptoms, depending on the complaint. Remember, these slots or spaces for the patient's appointments goes from 15 minutes each. 15, 15, 15, 15, 1 hour. Then another 15, 15, 15, 15, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. So if the office opens at 8 in the morning, well, we're going to have that, just like here. 8 in the morning or 9 in the morning or 10 in the morning. So we have 15, 15, 15, 15, and we're going to give them 15 minutes for each patient if it is a follow-up. If it is a new patient, then we give 45 minutes or meaning 3 little spaces. So that's basically what it is. It's simple. Now, if you look here, some of the schedules, they will do it a little, some of the booklets are a little different. Here you have the name of the doctor on top. See, this is the name of the doctor. This is a name, another doctor. This is another doctor. This is another doctor. So there are 4 doctors working in that office. That's what shows right here with these colors. You can apply one doctor right here, another doctor right here, another one, another one, another one, another one. And then the patient's information goes here. And here, what is the reason? And if you see, we block certain times when the patient or when the doctor is not going to be seeing patients. Remember, these matrix or templates are based on the doctor's availability. It's the time that the doctor is going to have to see patients, not the time that we go on break. It's the time that the doctor is going to go on break. So whenever we need spaces for the doctor, we just cross it out. How do we know? The doctor is going to tell us, hey, listen, I don't want to see any patients this particular day at this time, from this time to this time. So then we block it. And each doctor is going to tell you the same. This doctor is working only in the morning. So in the evening, no appointments. So you're not going to be placing appointments when you see that this being crossed out. This medical doctor do not work in this particular day, so at all. So we're not going to place anything over there. Or this doctor is going to work only in the afternoon because it's blocked only the morning. This is blocked the afternoon. So if the patient is on vacation, then we're going to block that particular time, those particular days. Break times for the doctors, we are going to block it. Any time off that the doctor has, we're going to block it. That's basically what it is. So it's very, very simple. So the office manager probably is going to talk to the doctor or the supervisor or whoever is in charge, because it's got to be someone who has, more tenure, more seniority, if you will. And that's the person that is going to kind of, figure it out according to what the doctor tell you. Okay, I'm not gonna be in this day. Okay, let's cross it out. I'm gonna be doing this. Let's cross it out. So we don't make the mistakes to give an appointment to these patients. So the same goes for the computerized system. It's the same. The spaces and the times and the days that this particular doctor is not available, it's not highlighted, so it's not active. So you cannot enter any information over there. It just doesn't allow you. This is like when you try to access something and you have tried to edit it. You just can't. Doesn't allow you. So here is the same. So that's basically what it is. It's simple. This is not something that, you're going to be kind of having a hard time, whether it's in the computer, whether it's on paper, you won't have a hard time. So that's basically what you need to know. So regardless of the preferences, that's it. Now, one of the things that I don't want you to forget is, remember, it is use pencil. Pencil is used to write the appointments. Why do we use pencil? Because if the patient do not show up, we can give that space to someone else. So we can just erase. But still, we're going to make a note that the patient did not show up on their medical records. So we can give you this lot to someone else, but still, we're going to be able to make corrections. Remember, in the computer, it's a lot easier because you can just delete, right, the information. But here, if you do it in pen, how are you going to erase it? How are you going to remove that from there? And it's legal. So these are the only documents in the medical field that you can use pencil and be legal. Any other documents like medical records, writing the patient's history, the patient's evaluations, diagnosis, everything that we collect from the patient should not be in pencil. It has to be written in pen. So, see, things change a little bit. So if you happen to encounter a question when they ask you what tools you're gonna use to enter the information on these books or book appointments or booklets for making appointments, then you said pencil. We're gonna talk about other little things except, the times that the doctor is not gonna be available to see patients. But we're gonna talk about, what you're gonna write down when the patient doesn't show up, when the patient cancels the appointment. So we're gonna talk about that. So once again, not difficult at all. Anyone, but just showing you once, you're gonna know how to do it. Remember, the patient is gonna call and says today is Wednesday. Oh no, today is Thursday. Now I'm bugging. So the patient calls in, it's 9 in the morning, and he says, I want an appointment. Of course, we're not gonna give an appointment for today, but we're gonna give you an appointment for tomorrow, or maybe for Monday. So you're just gonna open the page Monday. Oh, well, by the way, we don't have appointments tomorrow, Friday, but we do have on Monday. So the patient is gonna say, oh yeah, what time you are available to come in? So it says, oh, 11 a.m. Okay, good. You're gonna check Monday, 11 a.m. and that's it. You enter the name of the patient. Oh, which doctor do you wanna see? If we have more than one doctor. But if it is, oh no, I just wanna see Dr. A. Oh, not a problem. And this is the only doctor that we have in the office. And this is one of our patients. So, well, we have no other choice, right? So we're just gonna write the name down of the patient. And then under that particular time, 11 in the morning, oh, what is, oh, this is a follow-up. I'm gonna give this patient 15 minutes. That means that the next slot that is gonna be 15 minutes, I'm gonna give it to someone else and to someone else from then on. So that's basically what you're gonna do. And you're gonna that's the follow-up. They said follow-up. So that's it. and you write down FU. That's how it is. So be careful with saying those words. So you better say follow up. Don't say FU because FU will mean something else. But that's how we write it down. F backslash U. Follow up. If you don't want to write it down, if you want to write it down, just follow up. Not a big deal. So again, if it is chest pain, see these little spaces right here, these little slots, you gotta be able to fit right there the name of the patient. Remember when we write the name of the patient, last name, first name, initial for the second name. We don't have to put everything in there. What's your first name? This. Oh, but I have a second name. No worries. Initials, last name. Oh, but I have another last name. Oh, not a problem. Initials. So that's how we do it. And then the reason for the visit. Oh, well, this is for the same patient, but here it will be different. And the reason for the visit, that's it. So it's very important that we collect that information accurately, because if you don't do it, then you might give the wrong slot time for this patient if we don't ask what is the reason. And you need to know how much time is needed for this particular visit. Remember, follow-ups, 15 minutes. Physical exams, 45 minutes. A procedure, Pap smear, 45 minutes. So new patients, 45 minutes to 1 hour. So 45 minutes usually is like the standardized time. Even though if we're gonna charge for an hour, because it's 45 minutes, we can run a little farther than that. But those are the time that are allotted for these patients. Not difficult, right? So you're gonna encounter all these, times that has been blocked. And you're just gonna have the spaces where you can enter the patient information when they call. Of course, you're gonna give the patient dates, but if the patient cannot do it that time, say, no, I only can do it on Fridays. So then you're gonna look on Fridays. Don't give more choices because they cannot do it. I can do it only in the afternoon. What are you offering mornings? So we have to be flexible, remember that this is about the patients and not about us. Any questions about these paper-based, appointment booklets? Probably you have seen them when you go to the office. This is not the same as the signing sheet that you have when you go to your doctor's office, that you write just your name on it. No, this has nothing to do with that. That's to keep a chronological order of who was the first person who signed in. So it's the person that we're going to be calling in order, first come, first served. That's a different issue. So don't mix them up. Computer scheduling. Well, here things are a little different. But again, it's like opening your Teams and then you're gonna select this, you wanna select the microphone, you're gonna select the camera, you're gonna select, whatever else you do to enter to this site. Well, you are gonna open the application first. And most of the time, these applications are open already in the computer. So as soon as you open it up, that's it. Then there is a little window right there, like when you enter Google and you're gonna type the first letter of the patient's last name. And to narrow it down, well, you try to type as much as possible. Because we have lots of Smiths, lots of Browns. So we have some last names are very common, and we might have more than one Brown, Smith, whatever else in our office. So as much as we enter, but usually when we start typing the first 3 letters of the patient last name, immediately all these names that starts with this or those last names are going to show up on your screen. But if you have too many, you don't want to scroll down looking for them, then you kind of narrow down by typing a little more information. Or if you have a medical record, even better, because medical records, there's only one medical record assigned to this person. So you just enter the medical record number or letters or whatever the case may be. So that's how it works. Very simple. Here we can do exactly the same that we did with the appointment book because it's similar. The only thing that this is going to be in the computer, you're going to be seeing on the screen. It's going to be digital. So that's the only thing, but it's very simple. So again, there is no difference. It's just that one is in computer, the other one's in paper. They have the same format, if you will, meaning the same shape, the same spaces. We accommodate everything in the same fashion. It's just that it is digital now. You're gonna enter the information using the keypad or the keyboard, if you will. So that's basically what it is. Now, as I mentioned before, if this is a patient who's established, now remember there are two different type of patients that we have in office: new patients, established patients. Always keep in mind that new, established. This is not new in all patients. It doesn't work that way. It's new patients, established patients. So if it is an established patient, we just can enter the patient's information right there at the search little window, just like when we Googling something. Or when you try to get your contacts and you don't know where they are, you're not going to be start scrolling 100, 200 contacts. So you go to the search little window and you just type the name of the person. And if you have the person on file, it's going to be retrieved. And now you're going to make the appointment for that person. Again, you're going to retrieve the person, but you're going to verify that you are talking to the same patient. Remember, we might have two patients with the same name, last name, so we need something else, date of birth. So remember, we have to ask these two. There are 2 points to identify the patient, 2 points. That's a question for exam. How many points to identify the patient do we use in the medical field? In an outpatient clinic, 2 points. Name, meaning full name, which is name and last name, and we're going to use the patient's birthday. You might have the same name and first name, but your birthday is definitely going to be different. So that's how we make the difference. So we know that we are scheduling the appointment for the correct patient. Remember, we just type Smith or SM, and immediately all the people who starts with those letters, they're going to show up on your screen, but you're not going to select them incorrectly. So you have to be very specific. So that's one of the differences here between writing it down, because you just enter in the name of the patient as they telling you who they are. Here, you have to look right there on the system because you already have them. If it is a new patient, now you have to create a new patient. So now you're gonna enter all the patient's information. So patient has to create an account later on, but for now, you're gonna enter this new patient. So that is like when you enter a new contact in your phone. Very simple, just like that. It's just that you're gonna be entering more information. The patient's profile is not gonna be just the name and last name. No, it's gonna say email. It's gonna be your insurance and the insurance ID and a emergency contact, your address. So all the information has to be there. Now I can create your file. So that will be creating a new patient. That's a different issue. But we need to be able to do all that. And remember, you're going to be shadowing someone who's been there, who knows how to do it, so you can learn how to do it. Now, when we use computers, one of the many advantages that we have with the computers is not that the information that we enter there is legible, meaning that you can read it, you're not going to have problems, but anyone can be using that information at the same time. See, you are entering the patient's information, making an appointment, billing department can be working on the same patient. Or, claiming services or ordering a procedure to be referred to a certain department. So many people can be working at the same time. Hundreds of people, thousands of people can be working on the same file at the same time. See, we are right now doing this online. So I have all of you from different places joining this class. Well, the same happens with these electronic files, whether medical records, whether it is scheduling appointments. So you're going to be able to, get access to this. Now, that will be the disadvantage for these paper scheduling books. So if you have a booklet to schedule the appointments, if somebody is scheduling the appointments and there are 2 or 3 patients that want to schedule appointments, everybody has to wait. Whereas if you have a computer, then you have 2 computers, then this medical assistant, this nurse, this office manager, these people is going to be helping you out, registering the older patients while you register patients. So a lot of people can be doing at the same time. And when we need copies, we need the printout of that particular schedule, we can do it. See, if you work for a doctor's office, that means that you have to be doing the front and the front and back. So, and you are the only medical assistant, or you are the senior or the office manager, or you are the supervisor in that office, your job is to print out the appointments for these particular doctors the day before or right exactly in the morning when you open the office. So you can have all the appointments, all the appointments print out for Dr. A, B, C, and D. So you put in their desk. So when they come in, they know what patients they're going to have. And if it is paper, then you're going to have to have all these medical records ready with the appointment list on top. Oh, you have 5 patients scheduled for you. Well, then you're going to have all those medical records right there. And on top, you're going to find the list of patients that you're going to be seeing during that day. For walk-ins, well, for walk-ins, no, because they didn't make an appointment, right? So if they didn't make an appointment, we just need, and if there is space and there is time for them to be seen, then you will pick up the medical records and you register them. And then you give the charts to the medical record, to the medical doctor. So you got to get used to. If you work for this doctor who doesn't have computerized schedule or medical records, remember, you have to have this ready the night before. So before you go home that day, you're going to be getting everything ready, including the printout for these patients that are going to be seen. Because remember, you did this manually. So to each doctor, you're going to be giving them the list of all the patients that they're going to be seeing. That is our job if we work, and the administrative part. We are in the front. Or if we are the only medical assistant working in that office, we have to prepare everything. So it's a lot of work. It is a lot of work. For that reason, we need to know this. Any questions about paper scheduling or booklet appointments, booklet appointment, booking patients on those books or computerized scheduling. Remember, this is something that you're gonna learn in the office because they have different software applications, but they are very, very easy to work with. You just need to, to ask someone to show you how to do it. And that's what they're gonna do because they're gonna create an account for you. It's not that you're gonna open the computer and boom, the schedule, all the patient's files are gonna show up over there. No, you have to retrieve it. You have to retrieve it. It's just the same as when you are gonna make a phone call or you're gonna send an email. So you're gonna gather all the information that you need and then you enter that information, whether retrieving it directly from the system or retrieving those medical records from the chart or from the appointment book. So that's what you have to do. And that happens every single day that you work in your office. Self-scheduling. This is another advantage that we have with self-scheduling because that's the advantage of medical electronic scheduling. Because remember, if you open your own account, because patients nowadays, they can have their own patient's account with the clinic, with the hospital. So the only thing that they have to do is they just enter the system, log in, just the same way as you log right here to take my class or to go to check your emails or whatever other software application they're using. So the patients are going to enter there and they're going to go what it says appointments. And they're going to select the day and the time that they want to go to the doctor. That's it. They enter the information. Now, here, there is a little difference between paper and computer scheduling. Because when the patient enters the information, you have to go every day, every single time and check who registered. So we have to be kind of, checking out every single time the system. When you have these self-scheduling systems, then you have to check. So you need to know how many people schedule, but now you have to approve them. So they schedule themselves. Now you're gonna approve them. You have to send them text message, some type of message to the system, because you're gonna say approve, not approve. So you're gonna verify if something is going on that particular time, that particular date. Everything is already selected, but you need to know if there is any changes. Things happen. So you're gonna make sure that at last minute, the doctor is not canceling the appointments for that particular day. So we gotta be on top. So when the patient schedules themselves online, you as the administrative person needs to check very often these schedules and see how many people have scheduled themselves and approve these times that they have selected, if that's the case. Otherwise, you have to contact them and tell them that for that day it's not going to be available for any reason, and you have available this particular time. So remember, you have to confirm them. You can't just see the schedule and say, okay, it's done. No, it has to be confirmed, has to be approved. And you have to send a notification through the portal to the patient. So the patient is going to see the message. Oh, it's a message. Oh, yeah. My appointment is being confirmed. So without confirming the appointment, patient is not going to show up over there because you haven't approved it yet. So you have to do that. Now, when we do this online, can you imagine the patient's privacy and confidentiality is going to be better than if you write down that information on that appointment book. Why? Because anybody who's making appointments, you're not the only one. And that booklet is running around somewhere, and anybody can go and check the appointment book and see what is the reason that this patient is being seen. Even though if you were there, well, it's not comfortable, it's not nice for the patient that people knows exactly what you're there for. Only the person that took, the appointment or confirmed the appointment is gonna know. That's the reason many patients don't tell you exactly what is the reason they want to see the doctor. So no, they're not going to tell you, no, I'm just going to see the doctor. I have a follow-up appointment, even though if it isn't a follow-up, well, you have to trust your patient, so it's nothing much you can do. The only thing you have to do is you have to make sure that you review, you check out all the time this appointment book to make sure that people spending for approval for those appointments. So that's basically what it is. Remember, with computerized scheduling or medical records, we're going to keep our patients' privacy secure. Another thing, remember what happens when we don't have this automatic or electronic self-schedule. Well, the patient is going to be calling the office, right? Or the patient is going to stop by. So it reduces calls to the office when we have this type of electronic devices or software application. Now we're going to reduce the calls because now you already register, enter all the information because it's self-explanatory. They're going to ask you when you open the window, and they're going to have a little kind of star to the side that you must answer those questions. You will not be able to send this message or to request for this appointment if you don't complete all these windows. Because I need to know who you are, I need to know what is the reason, and I need to know what day and what time you want to be seen. So I don't have to have these patients calling back again for an appointment because they made the appointment directly through the system, through the software application. They can do it at any time. See, it's available 24 hours a day. You can go at any time. This is open. They don't close. It's like your medical records. If I have access to the medical records, my patients in the hospital, I can be anywhere in the world and I can have access to them. And I can enter information. And anyone else who is needing these medical records or appointment, make an appointment electronically, we can do. We don't need to be there. I'm on vacation. Let's say that I'm in France. I forgot to make an appointment. I can go to the system as long as I have an internet and I have an account, patient's account, a patient's portal. I can just go there and enter my appointment for wherever I am. Make my appointment, then they're going to confirm the same way, and I'm going to check that, oh yeah, when I come back, I'm going to go to see the doctor. I'm going to go see this. So this is the beauty of having these electronic software applications. It's going to facilitate, not to the patient, but for us. Because instead of we answering the phone to make appointments and start writing down on a paper, well, the patient is going to do most of the work. We just need to confirm. So one of the drawbacks from the systems, we discussed this before, is that, if the patient is illiterate, it's going to have a problem. Patient who does not know how to use computers or electronic devices. They're not going to be able to navigate through all these menus. So most of the time, that will be the elderly or someone who's not computer savvy. Some people don't even know how to turn a computer. Well, they don't have the opportunity. They didn't learn. So what do we expect? So this is the people that still is going to be calling the office. But it's less the amount of people calling the office versus those ones who are doing it, themselves. So this is very good, very helpful for the office, particularly for us if we are in the front desk doing all these tasks. Any questions about self-scheduling or using the patient's portal to schedule our own appointments? Advanced preparation. Now, before that will be whether it's a software application, whether it's a paper or scheduling booklet or whatever the case may be. Well, we have to set up. This should supposed to be one of the first chapters that I mentioned, remember? So we're going to establish a matrix. Remember, this is setting up this template. How do we want this office to run during this particular office hours? So you're going to mark, you're going to block. Remember, all of this is done based on the medical doctor's availability. Remember, it's not about us. Oh, I'm the medical assistant. I'm going to be on holiday such a day, so I'm going to mark right here in the schedule. No, because you don't see the patients. It's the doctor who sees the patients, who needs to decide how to, tailor or to customize, so to speak, this, scheduling system. So some of the things that we do is holidays or those days that we are not opening the office, days off. So we're going to close them out. Remember, lunchtime, dinner. Says, oh, wait a minute. You close at 5. No, what if you have extended hours in the evening? Well, you're going to have to set up time for dinner. What if you're working in a hospital when you have to work, night shift? Well, you have to have this. Other breaks. So if you have any other type of breaks, if you have 10 minutes break, see, sometimes the doctors see patient and they have a little space in between and there is no walk-ins or you don't want to see anyone else on that time. They're going to say, after this time, I'm going to see 3 patients, 4 patients. Then I'm going to complete the medical records. I'm going to enter all the information. I'm going to document all that to get it over with before, instead of waiting to the end of the day to complete those medical records. Remember, some doctors kind of, they spend more time with the patient instead of being in the computer, entering the information at the patient as they are asking, questioning, then they are focusing on the patient and then doing the examination. You cannot be doing a physical exam and typing at the same time. But all these findings, I'm going to keep it in my mind. So as soon as the patient leaves, I need to go and enter all that information before I forget them. As one of the doctors leaves then after 3, 4, 5 patients or after the end of the day for them to start documenting all this information in the patient's medical record, whether it's computer or paper-based. So we need to kind of, block all those times that the doctor is not going to be available. Time for hospital rounds. Now, this is if a doctor has to do rounds on that particular time, on that particular day. The rounds are done when there is a change of shift. Let's say, for instance, I was working from 6 to 6, 12 hours. So at 6, that I'm receiving the shift from the other doctor that was working from 6 in the morning to 6 p.m. They are, giving all the inputs about every single patient that is there. So I'm going to be taking over. So I need to know what's going on. What is the status of all of the patients? And we are going to be walking around. It's not that we're going to be sitting in a meeting. No, we're going to be walking around. That's what it's called hospital rounds, because we're going to be walking around visiting every single patient who is in every single of these rooms. And we are kind of handing these patients to the new, to the receiving physician and vice versa. So by the time that you reach your office, because you have an office when you work, that's the point. These doctors are doctors that works. So then they release, they are released around 6 in the morning. But sometimes we don't finish 6 in the morning. 6:30, 7 in the morning, we are kind of getting ready. And you have to see patients at 8 in the morning. But the time that I go from the hospital to the clinic, unless the clinic is right next door to the hospital, you will be there in no time. But if you have to drive well, we have to give some time. So I'm not gonna come out from my office or from the hospital and running right there. No, I have to probably take a shower. I need to have a breakfast before I start my new shift, if that's the case. So that's what's trying to tell you. So whenever the doctor is not available, we're gonna close that out. Meeting times, well, if you're gonna have a meeting, we can have patients at that time waiting. Vacation time, the same. So it's very important for us to know. Now, this is for the appointments. Now, if the doctor goes on vacation, in reality, what they have to do is they have to get someone else in place. You can't just go on vacation and leave the office empty. What about an emergency? So it's gotta be someone there who is gonna be taking over for those patients who are receiving continuous treatments, medications, and things like that. So we will discuss that when we get to medical records, because that is something, but I just touching bases on this one for vacation. Because can you imagine, you will be thinking, okay, this doctor is not gonna be for 1 week, 2 weeks. What happens if a patient who's taking medications, run out of medications? So we will discuss how this is done before the doctor goes on vacation. Types of appointment scheduling. So again, there are these kids running around on the hallways asking for, the candy. So hopefully they're not going to ring my bell, because, I don't even have candies right here, but I gave some candies in the lobby. But these kids still are going to be running around the building, but it's the kids that lives here in the building. So just in case you hear ringing the bell or some noise outside, because they're doing that right now. So again, types of appointment scheduling. Remember, we're going to talk about how do we keep our patients flow like working efficiently. Remember, we have to consider the doctors availability, the doctor's specialty, and the type of patients that we see, the conditions that they have. So all that has to come to play when we are going to schedule patient, remember. You as the person who is doing the scheduling, you must know how to deal with that. So remember, you are the one who's making the appointments, setting up those appointments, entering that appointment, not the doctor. So for that reason, you are the one who needs to learn how to move along with this type of schedules. Okay. Individuals other than patients will make appointments. Well, yes, remember, we talk about this. If we have self appointments, meaning the patient creates an account and the patient's portal, they can make their own appointments. Other than that, we might have to be making the appointments for them. So that's basically what I'm trying to tell you. Patients should not be moved to accommodate salespersons or pharmaceutical representatives. I'm telling you this one, particularly not only for salespeople, but pharmaceutical reps. I'm pretty sure that I mentioned this before. These pharmaceutical reps, as the word implies, they are promoting medications, usually new medications. So they come and they want to talk to the doctor and explain the doctor the medication that they are promoting because they are really good at it. That's what is called pharmaceutical reps. So they're gonna be talking to the doctor, making sure that the doctor is gonna prescribe this medication because that's how they make money. Now, I'm not talking about the doctor, I'm talking about the pharmaceutical companies and the pharmaceutical rep. Remember, this is like salesperson. If the salesperson do not sell anything, well, they don't get a commission, right? So the point here is that these pharmaceutical reps are gonna take a lot of time. They're not gonna tell me about medication in 5, 10, 15 minutes. Usually they take an hour or more. Being there, I know how these deals goes. So we have a policy, and you have to learn what is the policy of your organization in regards to salespeople or particularly the pharmaceutical reps. These people, they come to your office unannounced, meaning they didn't make an appointment. They just show up into the office, and the first thing that they do is they bring you little things, little souvenirs. They give you pens, they give you, post-its, little notebooks. They can even bring you food. Why? Because they're gonna bribe you, because they want you to be their friends, quote unquote, but it's just for them to get access to talk to the doctor. But remember, doctors are very busy, and you need to talk to the doctors when these pharmaceutical reps actually can come. So they have to make an appointment. They have to. I work with one of my friends, and these pharmaceutical reps usually, it's not just one, sometimes 2 or 3 of them, they show up. And they are very, very friendly. Believe me, you will like them because they bring you stuff. But remember, I mentioned this before too. Don't let yourself carry yourself out with these people, because what they do is, remember, they bring you something, they try to be very friendly with the intention that you allow them to go to the back room, and they go into the doctor's room. They stand right there outside of the doctor when they are examining a patient. And as soon as then you will go out, because the doctor is going to be very upset, particularly when they have patients to see. So they need to make an appointment. So make sure that you do handle these appropriately. And this is the doctor's, decision to determine when they want to see these pharmaceutical reps. So if you didn't know about these pharmaceutical reps, they can get you in trouble. They want to sneak in no matter what. I'm telling you, they're going to bring you stuff. They're going to say, oh, what do you like to eat? And they order any food that you want to eat. It doesn't matter how expensive it is. They're going to get it for you. Because if they get a good deal with the medical doctor about the medication, they're going to get a huge commission. But then you take the chances of, being reprimanded or even fired. Well, dismissed. So be careful with these pharmaceutical companies, reps. So make sure that you schedule them. They're gonna come to the office and they're gonna tell you this. Oh, hi, is Dr. A in? Oh, he's my friend. I'm gonna see him. Oh, did you make an appointment? No. He's gonna see me anytime that I come here. And you're gonna be the new kid on the block, and then you're gonna fall for it, and you're gonna say yes, yeah. No, they don't. Don't allow them to go directly to the back. They know where the doctor's office are. They know where the medical rooms are. So they go straight to the back. No, stop them. They're going to stop in front of you and bring you something or ask you about the doctor. You're going to stop them. said, oh, please have a seat. I'm going to make sure, I'm going to contact the doctor and see if he's available. Be nice. You be nice like with anybody else. If the doctor accepts, then you accept the food. If it doesn't, then you don't. So that's how it works. So make sure that you know what the policies of your organizations are for dealing with these pharmaceutical reps. They can be a problem. And remember, if your shift ends at 5 p.m., you allow this pharmaceutical rep to interrupt the doctor after they have seen a patient. Now, the time that these pharmaceutical reps are going to take, and that was time for these patients, you're going to have these patients on top of you, screaming at you, cursing at you, because somebody else took their place. And they want to go home because it's almost time to go home. Then the doctor is going to stay there, seeing the patient until 6 p.m., and you have to be there too. Who allowed the pharmaceutical reps to enter? You. So you're going to pay the price. And you're not going to get paid for that hour because it was your fault. So now you understand the importance of doing these appointments for these pharmaceutical reps. Well, it's the same than if the patient just show up all of them at once. It's going to be a madhouse. So making appointments is very, very important. It's crucial to keep workflow. Remember, everybody knows what's going to happen. Everybody knows what their duties are. So we know how many people we have to assist this patient. We know how many patients we're going to register per day because we know how medical doctors are going to be there, how many nurses, how many medical assistants, and so on and so forth. We don't just overload the office. Oh, so good. The more patients that we have, well, that's if you are your own business. Yeah, the more customers that you have, the better. But here we have some time frames. And you're going to have these angry people coming at you all the time when they are not seeing on time or when they think that they are waiting for so long. I don't have to explain you too much about this because you've been in this situation. When you go to the doctor's office, there's tons of people over there, and now you have to wait. And now someone else is going to be called first, and you think that you were before them. Now we're going to have an inconvenience. So that's basically what it is. So let's talk about these types of payment schedules. Remember that I told you that there were 7. There are like 8 or 10, but we're not going to discuss that. We're going to discuss like 5 or 6. I don't think that is many. So we're going to talk about open office hours, waived scheduling, modified waived scheduling, double booking, grouping procedures, or clustering schedule, and stream scheduling. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I wasn't wrong. So open office hours. Remember, open. Think about open. What do you mean? Oh, walk-in patients. So as soon as we open the office, we have all these patients that wants to walk. So first come, first serve. That's it. Don't give a mind to anything else. The patients will be seen in order of, who signed the attendance or the signing sheet first. Yeah, we can make a little exceptions to the rule if there is a patient who, is in worse conditions than another. Because if we have someone who's coughing, we don't want to have this person coughing all the time in front of everybody. That can get sick everyone, right? So someone might do something else. Now, what is the problem with this? Well, it's not an order. Well, the fact that, they just sign in the order of arrival, well, that's not going to be it because these patients are going to be upset anyways because you have too many people coming almost at the same time and they have to wait for long periods of time. That's basically what it is. Remember, even though if you were outside, sometimes people line up, because if you don't line up, then the first one might be the second, the third, or fourth. So you want to keep an order. But that's how they do it. And when you come inside, there are some people that just gonna cut the line and go in front of the others, and it's gonna create a problem. And that can overburden, see, office staff members, because how are you gonna control these people? It's too much going on. Everybody fighting. I was first, listen, and you saw me, I was here, blah, blah, blah. I was here at 7 in the morning, 5 in the morning. And what are you gonna do there? So again, it's not the best schedule to keep order, to keep workflow moving, smoothly. There's no way. So remember, open office hours, walk-ins. So when you hear about walk-ins, it's open office hours. There's kind of no control. You open the door, it's like everybody pouring in. So it's going to create some problems for time, for the waiting time that they have to be there. Wave scheduling. I don't know. Don't ask me why do they give these type of names, but they said like this is like the waves, right? That they come, relax, and then they return and something like that. So that's how I see it. So wave scheduling, and this type of schedules, you're going to use specific times during that particular hour. So usually what you do is you schedule certain amount of patients in this particular first part of the day, in the first half an hour, if you will. So that's basically what it is. So you schedule 3 patients during the first half of the hour, of each hour. So you have 3 patients. But remember, you have to schedule 3 patients that are follow-up patients, are established patients. It's not someone who's coming for a physical exam, complete physical exam. It's not someone who's coming to do a procedure, because in an hour we have 4, it is divided in 4 quarters. So you're gonna give 15 minutes to each one. So we leave 15 minutes to accommodate someone who was a little late or spend a little more time with this patient. So that's basically what wave scheduling is all about. And we're gonna do it every hour the same. The first half of the hour of that particular time of day, we're gonna schedule 3 patients. And we're gonna have 15 minutes kind of empty. Once again, just in case we spend a little more than 15 minutes with one patient, or we have to do something after that. So we just leave 15 minutes of that hour to accommodate any inconvenience that may happen. So that's basically what it is. Now, it says the second half an hour, you can be for walk-ins. Yeah, that's true. But sometimes, you might not. But this is to accommodate any situation. And any situation might be a walk-in. But the key is that you are going to schedule 3 patients on the first half an hour, and then, play a little bit with those 15 minutes that we have left. That can be used, once again, to accommodate an emergency, to accommodate a walk-in, or to extend the time that we spend with one of the patients. So we're going to be fine right there. So that's basically what it is. So this is the wave scheduling. Now, this is not asked in exams. You will be asked about open office hours, because what is open office hours? Oh, walk-ins, first come, first serve. That's it. So you shouldn't be worried about that. Wave scheduling, they don't ask about this. Modified wave scheduling, that is a, just a little, giving a little twist to the wave scheduling. So 2 patients arrive at the top of an hour, and a 3rd patient arrives half past the hour. So it's very similar to wave scheduling. But the only thing is that we have 2 patients at that particular hour, starting the hour, and then we have a 3rd patient. Not like in the other one, we have 3 patients, and we accommodate the little time that we have left for any inconvenience that we might have, including walk-ins. Here we have 2 at the beginning of the half an hour, the hour, and then 1/3 patients at the second part. That's basically what it's talking about. Now, I don't know where did they come out with that, but that's how they created it. Remember, this type of schedules, these type of scheduling appointments, this is not something that we are going to discuss. Why are they doing this? No, it's just that if it is convenient for the medical doctor in their practice and their specialty, well, that's how we run it. But this is not the most common. Wave scheduling, modified wave scheduling are not common. It is common to have the madhouse, which is open hours. That is mostly for clinics. Double booking, this is very common. So double, as the word implies, double, scheduling 2 patients at the same time. So if it is in the first, the first time of the hour, 2 of them. So that's basically what it is. So remember that I told you, I gave you a little story about, when I take my mom and she have an appointment at 2 or 3 p.m. and then the patient sitting next to us on the right side, on the left side, behind, or in front of us says, oh, we have at the same time, and we have at the same time. So then, once again, all those 2, first come, first served. The first one decides. So all the purposes of having more than 1 patient showing up at the same time is because patients are not always on time. So if I tell a patient to just come at this particular time, he doesn't show up, what is the doctor going to be doing? And then 5 minutes later, they show up. Or don't show up at all. The doctor is going to be wasting all that time. So we're going to have someone else. Well, you didn't show up, then the other one is there. So when I'm seeing this patient, the other one might show up. And if it doesn't show up, well, the patient who was supposed to be an hour later or half an hour later, have an appointment for half an hour later, then we're going to call that if it's there. So that's how it works. The purpose is to keep the flow of the patient. When I said the flow, keep patient's flow, is that the doctor is not wasting time, that the medical assistant, whoever is working there, is always doing something. Not that you're sitting there waiting for the world to change, and that's not good. So again, this is another question that you will be asked on exams. 2 patients are scheduled at the same time. Oh my goodness, they're giving you the answer. 2, double booking. So remember, the questions are not that difficult. 60% of the time, I can assure you that you have the answer within the question. Just read the question. That's the most important thing. You are scheduling you are asked to schedule patients, and you have to schedule 2 patients at the same time. What type of scheduling appointment are you using? Double. Patient just walk in, or you have an open hours. What type of schedule is that? Oh, this is walk-ins. Or if they said the patient just walk in, this is open hours. Patients who do not have an appointment. How you call that? Walk-ins. Simple. So you just have to understand one keyword and you will get all these answers. I'm telling you, I have taken tests not knowing anything. See, on YouTube, I have, stupid stuff right there. Excuse my language. I follow some stuff right there. It says, oh, questions about this. Ooh, the capital of this. I know the capital of one or two of them. I said, okay, this is not. Process of elimination. I have no clue which one is it. I said, okay, doesn't sound like good. Oh, the one that has the longest name. I said, that's probably it. And I get it. And I'm surprised myself sometimes. I do a lot of quizzes for a lot of materials, a lot of things. Without reading it, I'm going to take the quizzes to see if it is true, all these, and if they do work. They do work. Because I pass without reading materials that I don't have no idea what it is. It's not that it's medical, what I'm familiar with. No, with things that I'm not familiar with. So take it from me. Just read the question. Do not panic. Because anytime that we're going to take a test, the first thing that we do, we panic. We're just thinking that we failed without starting taking the test. No, relax. Sit there, read your questions, and you will see that you will see everything clear. I'm telling you, it's not going to be that difficult. Grouping procedures, just think about it, grouping, cluster scheduling. So if it says grouping schedule or cluster scheduling, means that you're going to get a group of patients that has the same issues that we're going to be seeing them today. I want to see all the diabetic patients on Wednesday. So on Wednesday, just diabetic patients. I'm going to be doing pap smears on Tuesday. Monday and Friday are the worst days to work, usually are the crowded ones. Remember, on Monday, after holiday, after weekends, people wants to come and they come with all these issues. Very difficult. Fridays, everybody wants to go on weekends, so before they go on weekends, they go to the doctor. So that's basically how it works. So clustering means that. So questions that you will have on your exam, I just creating them. That means clustering or grouping. The doctor decides to see patients with the same conditions this particular day. What type of appointment is that? It's just like that. It's simple. So you're going to look for grouping, scheduling, or cluster. Sometimes they use a group of people with the same, oh my God, they give me the answer. Grouping or group means cluster. You're not going to tell you, okay, you're going to see a cluster of people and then you're going to say a cluster, an answer. But not like that. Some of them, yeah, but some of them are not that obvious. They use grouping and clustering means the same. So that's basically what it is. We're just going to see people from the same condition. We're going to do the same test. So we're not going to deviate from this. So I'm going to have my medical assistant the whole day, working with pap smears. We're going to do colonoscopies. So that's basically what it is. Or these days, we're going to use it just for physical exams. Complete physical exams. This day, we're going to use only for the new patients. Remember, new patients, you need to know what is the policies of your organization. Remember, new patients takes at least an hour. That's an hour for sure. So You don't want to schedule a patient at 4:30 when you are closing at 5, just because you didn't know. I'm a new patient. Oh, yeah, just go good. See, probably the doctor is going to tell you. Yeah, we can see it. 5 minutes to 5. We're going to close, but yeah, let them in. We need patience. Try to make sure you tell this patient, give them an option. See, we're just going to close at 5, but I have an appointment for tomorrow. First time in the morning, 8 in the morning, 9 in the morning. What do you think? Oh, I'm available on the evening time, on the afternoon. Well, I have one at 3. Don't tell them they're at 4, because they're not 4. They're gonna show up 4:15. It's a new patient, you know. And when you're gonna close an office? When you're gonna put everything together? When you're gonna set up everything for the next day? So it's a lot of things that you have to do in the doctor's office. That is why, when you get your experience, try to work in a hospital, because in a hospital, you don't have to do all this. None of this. You have just to deal with the doctor, doing procedures, phlebotomy, EKG, vital signs, collecting urine, and whatever that doctor specialty, is doing. So that's basically what it is. So last but not least, stream scheduling. Now, this is another question that is asked. So there are 3 questions. Open office hours, which is walk-ins. Double booking, which is scheduling the 2 patients at the beginning of the hour. Not difficult. And now we have stream scheduling. Oh no, and the cluster, the grouping, and stream scheduling. How do you know that this is stream scheduling? Because it's a time specific scheduling. So these 2, you have to relate them. Time specific. So this is a patient that you're going to give exactly the time and only to one patient, and only the patient is going to be seen, and it's going to be seen at that particular time. This works in hospitals. This works for specialists. They don't want 2 procedures to come at the same time. They want to do this patient. I worked with the doctor when I was a medical assistant who was a specialist. Well, I worked with several of them. I worked with an urologist, I worked with a gastroenterologist, and I worked with what was the other one? Well, I worked with so many people, but we were doing this type of schedule. Everyone in that particular hospital were doing this stream scheduling, time specific. So the patient came, the patient has an appointment at 10 in the morning, they show up 10 minutes, 15 minutes, they bring it to you, they bring the medical record to you, or you just open your computer because it's computerized now. And then, they already have the appointment. The only thing that you have to do, you do vital signs, prepare the patient, and you put them in the room. That's it. Right there, 9 p.m., 10 p.m., 11 p.m., 1, 2, 3, whatever the patient has the appointment, the doctor goes there and see the patient. So usually, we know where the doctor's office is at, and then you're going to go knock the door. Hi, excuse me, Dr. Smith. You have Mr. Brown there, is waiting for you. Are the vital signs done? Yes, sir. Okay, no problem. Oh, by the way, can you ask the patient if he can give you some urine? Not a problem. Can you draw the blood or do an EKG while, I'm doing something? No problem. Go take the patient and do whatever is being done. But that's all you're going to do. So that's specific time. You give the patients one time, 1 hour, and that is it. If the patient meets that, it's over. If he is late or something like that, reschedule the patient. We don't accommodate people because we already give them certain time, and nobody else is going to take that time. Except if the patient cancels. You know why? Because we charge for the appointment if you don't show up. So we charge you as if you kind of show up to the appointment. So we're gonna charge you, and we're gonna receive money just for doing nothing. So then we're gonna do something else, and you don't have to work much, see, because you just see one patient now, wait for the doctor to release the patient, oh, do this, and then you do it, that's it, next patient, and that's it. You don't have to do much. So it's very important. Stream scheduling, specific, a time-specific scheduling. Remember, it is patient is given this particular time and only one patient. If you miss your appointment, you reschedule yourself. We charge you for that. Okay, any questions about these 6 types of scheduling methods that we have in, whether it's a hospital, whether it's a clinic? Now, not all of these schedules are being used at the same time, remember. We sometimes have a combination. Hospitals do not like walk-ins. So it is mostly doctor's offices. See, you don't arrive to hospital and go to the front desk and tell the person, customer service or receptionist, whatever it's going to call, oh, hi, I'm here to see a doctor today. Oh, do you have an appointment? No. Well, you have to get an appointment. I have Tuesday, I have Friday, well, you're not going to be seen. Doctor's offices are different. So in doctor's offices, usually we have a combination of them. We have stream scheduling, which usually do not work in doctor's offices. So we have like the wave or the double booking and walk-ins. Usually we have a combination of those, mostly double booking and walk-ins. So that works really, really well. Because we're gonna have 2 patients for the same time, and then we have the walk-ins that we can kind of accommodate whenever we have spaces. So that's basically what it is. Because patients usually in clinics do not make appointments, unfortunately. Specialties, they want you to make an appointment. But general practitioners, family practice, general medicine, internal medicine, usually, and you have seen probably in these offices that they said, walk-ins, welcome. That means that you're passing by and you see walk-ins, welcome, and then you decide to go see the doctor. So that's basically what it is. Any questions at all? Let's talk about advanced booking. Now, I mentioned this yesterday. Some of these booking systems or scheduling systems allows for the patient certain time ahead to register. All depends. Remember, your office determines how far from today we can make appointments. Some are making for the month, some 2 months, 3 months. Hospitals usually use 6-month time frame. If you go beyond the 6 months, then they're gonna tell you, okay, call us before this time, or 2 months later. So I know that because when my mom travels, because we travel all the time. So if my mom is going to travel and then, she have an appointment today, we get all her appointments and it says, her doctor sometimes says, oh, you know what? Make an appointment in 3 months. And they said, oh, my mom will not be here in 3 months. Maybe 6 months, 8 months. Oh, no. When you come back, then you make an appointment. Or before, this time, you make an appointment. Let us know when you come back, when she returns. So that's basically what it is. So that's how it works. So in advance means, I want to make an appointment 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, 1 month from now, 2 months from now. That's basically what it is. Now, every single time that the patient makes an appointment, we have to give them a confirmation they have an appointment, right? Of course. Well, there are different ways, right? Depends on how the appointment is booked. This is like when you buy plane tickets, they have to give you a, a proof. It's like a receipt that, that you have used, you have purchased those tickets. Well, when you have appointments, it's the same. So if you do this, you schedule yourself the appointment in the patient's portal, then you're gonna get a message, and you're gonna have a confirmation number, and you're gonna bring that confirmation number with you. That's it. Now, if you do it in person, they're gonna give you an appointment card. It's like a reminder. So that's basically what it is. Very, very important. Whether I'm rescheduling an appointment, whether I'm giving you a new appointment, we have to give you some time of proofs so you can keep yourself. And not only that, we, the administrative personal staff, has to call the patient 24 hours prior. And if the patient needs to cancel, the patient needs to cancel at least 24 hours prior. It is recommended that is 48 hours if they know, because then we have the chance to use that spot for someone else, contact someone else. Said, hey, Mr. Brown, I have I have a spot for you on this particular day. You needed to come, but there was no space. I have a person who canceled. You want to use it? Oh, sure. Or not, then you have the chance to call someone else. But if it is with less than 24 hours, well, probably you're not going to get someone for that time. And we're going to lose the money from that day. So that's basically what it is. So here we have the time cards, reminders. I don't know what is this so far away. Here it is. So here is an empty one, name, date, and time. Don't forget your appointment. Now, the letterhead can be on top, can be on the bottom, it doesn't matter. But we need to have the doctor's office hours, and it should be the doctor's hours too. But well, not a big deal, it's not. But contact number, definitely, and the address and the name of the doctor. And here is the name of the patient. We have another one right here, see, that is filled out. This is for Lila Hudson. This is Dr. Donald Myers. And 2 p.m. Tuesday, Wednesday, see, it says everything. April and 8th of April are 2 p.m. So that's basically what it is. So see, we have to give patients reminders. Remember, we tend to forget. But even though if I have this appointment card with me, and I make my appointment in advance with 2 weeks, 1 week, we totally forgot. We get caught up doing so many things. I even forgot to plug my computer. Well, I ran out of battery, see, and it's right there in the same day. I said that I'm losing my mind. No, we are adults and we have lots of things in our brain. So next thing you know, you forget. So we have to remind them. Remember, 24 hours before we call in the patient to remind them about the appointment. We don't want the patient to miss that appointment because that means money to our office. Remember, that is the purpose. So be careful. So scheduling new patients about what the telephone scheduling patients time. Okay, almost done there. See, type of appointments. So we have this, leave outtake time. We were working here. So where am I going back? So advanced booking. So that's basically what it is. So when we do something in advance, we have to not only give them a reminder card, but also call the patients prior to this 24 hours prior. Probably you have those happening to you. Time patterns. Leave some open time during each day schedule for any unforeseen event. Remember, we don't just fill in the entire, scheduling time. No. First of all, we have too many patients. We need to breathe in between patients. Remember, it's not seeing the patient, it's not you registering the patient. Then you have to receive the patient that was seen. Now you have to complete the discharge paper, referrals, and do procedures, collect blood, do EKGs, or do something else. So we have a lot of stuff to do. So we try to leave little spaces, but that is the decision of the medical doctor. Whether the medical doctor want to use these 15, 30 minutes to call the patients, because remember, patients calls in and then you need to take the message, they're going to call the patients. Or they're going to complete the medical records. They're going to complete the history. They're going to get everything settled by the time that they are done. Or anything that happens, a family member calls, someone comes to visit, they're going to leave early. They're just going to take a break. Regardless what it is, this is how we are going to fix this. So that's basically how it works. So we got to kind of move based on, what the doctor's availabilities are. Remember that Mondays and Fridays, I mentioned that already. Mondays and Fridays are the busiest days in a clinic, in an outpatient, in the emergency. We were prepared Fridays. Saturdays, forget about it. Sundays, Mondays, that was like the worst days. We have a full house. So that's basically what it is. So make sure that you know this. And remember, I mentioned it before. If you close your office at 5, do not register patients at 4:30. If there is a follow-up, you can do it at 4, 4:15, 4:30, 4:30, you're done. You're not going to be seeing more patients. Unless there is an extended evening hours, someone is going to be taking over, you're going to be working, then you see because they're going to go straight. But if it's not, make sure that you don't register patients at that time. Why? Because now you're going to get stuck over there. You're not going to be leaving at 5, you're going to be leaving at 6 or 7. And guess what? Don't ask for overtime. Patients wait time. This is one of the biggest issues that we have in the medical. Regardless of how we do it, regardless whether you use computerized, paper-based, time is very, very complex. The waiting time. Particularly when we do not have these proper or appropriate scheduling systems. This is a very problematic in emergencies, doctor's offices, when they have these walk-ins. Remember, in emergency, you just walk in. You don't make an appointment to go to the emergency, you just pour in. Well, some of the doctor's offices, the only way they move is like, first come, first serve. So we are open. That's business. So it is a problem no matter what, but we try to kind of, move along with. So if we kind of organize and we kind of set up, do the process prior to registering these patients correctly, asking what is the reason, then we figure out how long it's going to take, not registering too many patients, making sure that we follow the matrix. But remember, when you work with doctors that are the owners of the business, they want to see every single patient, even though if they're going to finish at 8 p.m. Particularly when they are still young, because they want to work. Says right here, patients should not have to wait more than 5 or 20 minutes from their Oh, seriously? No, that is totally unforeseen. No, that is not real. We have a time frame or 45 minutes to 3 hours. So no, that's what it depends on the time of the schedule, about the types of schedule that you're using. You're gonna refrain yourself from getting into this situation, having all these patients. I can reassure you 100%. If you have walk-ins, it's gonna be a madhouse. It's gonna be a madhouse, and you have to be prepared. Everybody wants to be seen at the same time. Everybody's condition is, serious. Well, it is serious for them, but what can you do? You have 10, 15 patients in the waiting area, and each one of them wants to be first. No, we have a signing sheet, first come, first serve. And unfortunately, not gonna get into that. And you gotta let it know, because that's your job. Hi, Mr. Smith. Remember, you sign up at this time. So you see all these patients right there. You have 10 patients in front of you. You have 6 patients in front of you. So I'm not giving you time for you to say, okay, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. The doctor is going to be seeing you soon, because that's not going to be happening. So you need to control the crowd. You need to control your clients, your patients. Be professional. As soon as they ask you, oh, how long is it going to take for the doctor to see me? Because they see all these lists, all these names on that, signing sheet, and you're going to say, no, the doctor is going to be seeing you soon. Soon, you're lying to me. And now I'm going to get in your face as soon as 5 minutes, 10 minutes passing by, because that's soon for me. So don't promise people time. Remember, I mentioned this already. Tell them, just plain and simple. If they ask you, let me see. Sure, Mr. Brown, let me check. Take the signing sheet, and I said, okay, you have. They have numbers, you number all them. You have 5, 10, 11, 15. Oh, you have quite a bit of time to wait, because you have 10 patients in front of you. Wow, yes. By the way, Mr. Brown, do you want to reschedule? Do you want to make an appointment? You can come tomorrow. I can make an appointment for, let me see. I have 10 in the morning. Can you make it? No, because, okay. But you give options so they don't get upset. And then you know what they do? They go sit quiet. But you need to know how to control this, because if you don't, you're going to have these people on your face. Remember, they're going to stop all the time from the waiting area. They're going to walk to the front desk right there in front of in front of you, and they're going to tell you what's going on, why not calling me, well, you know the drill. So that's basically what it is. So you call us and try to make sure that you're fair, that you're not skipping people. Follow exactly, because these people is there. And you crossing them out as soon as you see them, and then call the next one, and this one, you skip it, you're gonna have issues. So again, so right there, if the patient has waited more than 15 minutes in the reception area, offer an explanation for the delay. Now, this is a different issue. I'm not talking about patients coming in, signing in. This is a working in office. No. That's not what it's trying to tell right here. What I'm gonna tell you, what happened is the doctor is running late. If the doctor is running late, you have to make an excuse for the doctor. So you know that the doctor should be here 9 in the morning. It is 9, the doctor is not there. It is 9:10. Immediately, this is the time for you to stand up and talk to the people in the waiting area. You're gonna tell them, good morning, everyone. I just received a message from the doctor. The doctor have an emergency in the hospital. So, he was working in the hospital this morning. So he came in so it's gonna be here 30 minutes or an hour, because you're gonna contact your doctor. Or your doctor is going to send you a message. Listen, I'm late. I just woke up. You don't tell the patient, oh, the doctor just called me that he just woke up. Can you imagine how responsible this doctor is? You do not do that. You make an excuse immediately because they're going to tell you, just tell the patient something. So, oh, the doctor is stuck on traffic. She just sent me a message. So it's going to be raining a little late, okay? So that's it. You always excuse, you always keep your patients informed. So then don't you have these patients talking and getting, on your face. Think about it. Always be professional. Even though if you don't know where the doctor is at, the doctor is not responding, you calling them, make an excuse. The doctor is stuck on traffic. I use that all the time. So that's it. What else are you going to do? But you're not going to tell him this. And the second thing that you're going to do is like, wow, but I need to, I came this early this morning because I have to go work. Oh, whoever wants to make a reschedule or make an appointment, if they didn't have an appointment, if they have an appointment, ask them to reschedule. If they didn't have an appointment, give them the opportunity that you will schedule them for another day. And you will be seen at that time. That's how you fix things. You don't ignore the patients because you're going to have problems. Okay. Any questions? Well, this one is countable because he's sitting in the couch of his home, right? I haven't seen, oh, well, yeah, I have seen offices like this, but not the doctor's offices. So again, see, the patient is watching, is looking at his watch, and he's going to say, oh, wait a minute, they told me 5-10 minutes, and I'm still here. It's 20 minutes, half an hour. So now they're going to hear me. Have to be patient. If the patient in the reception area have been waiting more than 15 minutes, I've always allowed the option to reschedule. See? Before the patient get in your face, or the patient asks you, it says, okay, the doctor is running a little late, there is an emergency, so the doctor is spending a little more time with the patient inside, something came up, or we have an emergency and the doctor had to take care of that, so we're going to be running a little late. I'm sorry, my apology for that inconvenience. But if anybody wants to make, reschedule or schedule, remember, if you are a walk-in, you're going to make a fuss anyways. You're going to offer them to schedule for the next day or whenever they feel like it. If you make an appointment, even better. So ask them, Mr., Mrs. Smith, whoever, say in general, if someone wants to reschedule, please let me know. I know you have your own time, so, try to understand what's going on. Be empathetic. So if you're not good, right? Telephone scheduling. Now we know this. We went through this. We talk about patients calling. Now this is the incoming calls. Now you're making an appointment. That you're not making an appointment. Or you're not. It's not that you want to talk to the doctor. No, this time you're making an appointment to be seen. So the same way as we answered the phone when we were talking to someone who were calling in for any reason, we're going to do the same. We're going to be very professional, remember? And you're going to offer them, once again, the times that, if you have the time that they want available, otherwise, do not go overboard, remember. Offered, give the patients 2 options. This day and this day, morning or afternoon. I have Tuesday, 11 in the morning. Oh, well, then I have this day. That's it. I have Tuesday and I have Friday and I have Wednesday. I have Monday. 2 options. Remember, if you do not put yourself in that particular time window, You just leave the door open. They going to have, listen, you're going to spend the whole day. They are trying to accommodate these people. So try to make sure that you really, really narrow down these options to 2 days and two times of the day, a morning or a half afternoon for these particular 2 days. Which one do you prefer, Mr. or Mrs. Brown? I'm changing, not Mr. Smith. Probably they are bored already. So that's how it works. Be considerate of request times whenever possible. So you have to be considerate when they request this particular time. Well, you're gonna try to, if you have it available, but don't leave an open book. That is what I'm trying to tell you. Explain why a time is not available and offer a substitution. So again, remember, you are in control. And if you don't know how to manage the office, then you're gonna have issues. And you're gonna spend too much time. And you have a lot of things to do, not just talking to the patient. Do not be rude to the patient. Okay, when you make your mind, just please call me. That is not a good comment to a patient. You can tell them, well, I'm not pretty sure. Okay, well, make arrangements of the things that you have to do and give me a call back. That's a different issue. So again, you can always cancel. Tell the patient, you can take this if you're not pretty sure, but you can always cancel. Just let me know within 24 hours. Give them the benefit of the doubt, because if you don't do that, you're not flexible, patients are not going to trust you. They're going to think that you are not on their side, that you're not considerate. See, offer patients a choice of days, a choice of morning or afternoon, a choice of time. But it's not like you want Monday, you want Tuesday, mornings, afternoons. What about Monday? What about Tuesday? What about? No, because you're going to spend the whole day. The patient's always going to find something they're going to do. I'm telling you, I've seen these a lot. Oh, no, Monday, by the way, I have to do this. Tuesday, no, no, I cannot do it. The days that you didn't give them, they said, what about Saturday, Sunday? We don't work on Saturdays and Sundays. So just make sure that you are very specific, and you will see that things will work just fine for your own good, for the sake of you and the patient. Writing an appointment book, we already talked about that. You have to be legible. You have to understand what's being written, what's being documented. That's one of the major issues when we write things by hand or handwriting things. Handwriting is very difficult sometimes. So again, but if you do, you have to do it very legible. Remember that the appointment book may be subpoenaed to court. That means that will be requested by the court of law an order to present any documentation. Because remember, if you have to prove that the patient was given appointments, we have copies. We have documentation that we gave the patient this information. The patient did not comply. So now this falls under the responsibility of the patient. So we are clean. Put the patient's contact phone number next to all entries. Why? Because this we're doing we're collecting information over the phone. So we have to, document which line do we use, what method of communication we use. It was an email, it was a text message, it was a phone call. Do we leave a voicemail? It was an email. It was a letter. Whatever method that we use to communicate with the patients, we must have those. We must have. Say, yeah, I called in at this number. Yeah, I make a phone call. When? Oh, well, I have the date there. What was the number that you called? Do you know that this person didn't have that number at that time? The patient switch. Oh, you never asked for, updates on the patient's profile, patient's identification information. Well, see, abandonment. We don't keep up with things. Even though if it sounds annoying to the patient, and I know I've gone through that myself. People asking me the same questions all over, but then I realized, I said, oh my goodness, these people are doing their work. I don't show it, I don't get upset. It's just that I said, sure, but not that I'm liking it. Are you still living in the same address? Yeah, I haven't been, kicked out from there. Oh, you have the same number, phone number. Let me see. Yeah, sure, I have, and blah, blah, blah. But you know what? Then you realize that, wait a minute. This is the information that it needs to be updated every single time. Particularly the insurance and your insurance ID, because we need to get paid. So that's basically what it is. Very important to get these appointments, clear. Scheduling new patients. Now, once again, scheduling new patients are totally different than, scheduling established patients. As public patient, we already have most of the information. We might just go over, updating some information or just taking the chief complaint. What is the reason? What are the symptoms? And just, select the date that they want and the time and hour that they want to be seeing the patient. They want to make the appointment. That's it. But we need to collect some information. But for new patients, we're starting from scratch. So we got to get all the information. We have to fill out a registration form. So we ask all the pertaining questions. So we fill all the blanks, whatever pertains to the patients, of course. So, and it depends, because remember, if it is a new patient, we are going to give this patient at least 45 minutes. It's between 45 minutes and an hour. So for the answers for the test, new patients, 45 minutes, a complete physical exam, 45 minutes. So that procedure, 45 minutes to 1 hour. That's how we're going to do it. So we're going to make sure that we do convey all this information and we collect all this information, because if we don't ask, the patient doesn't know. We have the format right there, so we just filling in the blanks, asking all this information. So it takes more because this is a new patient. And when the patient comes in, we ask them to bring your insurance card, bring your photo ID, because we make sure that the photo ID and the insurance card belongs to the same people. Remember, or to the same person. Remember, there are many people who uses somebody else's insurance. I know that. I've seen it in the hospital. So if you don't do it, and then, you're going to have some problems later on. Offer the first available appointment to the patient. Well, first we ask the patient when do they want to come, right? And then we offer them what we have available. Because usually they say, when is the closest time that you can give me? Okay, this day. Or they say, listen, the days that I can come is on Fridays, it's on Mondays. Don't give it any other choices, because they cannot make it. I already told you, this is the day that I can come. So Monday. So I have 1-2 weeks from now. Anything earlier? No, because you only have Monday's availability. But by the way, if we have canceling, well, we notify you. If somebody cancels something, well, You have to be kind of there for them. Remember to offer choices when scheduling the appointment. Yeah, not too many choices, remember. Tell the patients how the access, what is the availability for parking issues. It's not that we have parking in the hospital, we don't. And if we have parking, then we will be paid parking. So tell them, because sometimes they just run all the time looking for parking space. Remember, we talk about that. Directions. You have to give the patients accurate directions. Because if you don't give accurate directions, then they're gonna be late. They're gonna be calling, trying to verify where is the address. They're gonna be calling anyways. But try to do your best. Explain fees to the patient, payments. Now, don't go overboard when you're talking over the phone. So you're gonna ask, do you have medical insurance? What type of medical insurance? Do you have a second or secondary medical insurance? All this is important because the more insurances that you have, the less you have to pay. But remember, secondary insurances pays the balance of the primary insurance. Tell them that you're gonna have a copayment regardless of what insurance they have and how much is it for first time visit. Doctor's visits are $25. Remember, we have a copayment of $25 that has to be paid the day of the visit every single time. It is $50. You have to tell them. Oh no, I'm gonna pay cash. Well, the visit, you have all the fees over there. For the visit, new patient, the doctor is charging $200. Not include labs or laboratory testing. No, it's just for the visit. No medications included. Make sure that you do that. And when the patient comes back and in person, gonna register and show your insurance, you're gonna tell them, why do I ask insurance? Because if you don't ask about insurance, what if we do not take your insurance? You're gonna waste your time. And I'm gonna be very, very upset at you that you made me come at this time after you have the opportunity over the phone to tell me, to ask me for my insurance, because I don't know. Me as a patient, was under the impression that every single office is gonna take whatever insurance I take, or I have, I'm sorry. So you gotta make sure that you give the correct, the most accurate information. When it comes to money, when it comes to time, it is important. Patients are gonna be very upset. So tell them up front. Ask them first, and you will see that everything will run smoothly. Okay, so time for break. Let's go on break. So it is 7:05. Let's come back at 7:40 as usual. Okay. So when you come back, we don't have much stuff to do. Well, we do it and that's it. We call it the day. Okay. If you guys have any questions when you come back, just ask me. All right. Enjoy your break. See you later. 7:40 it is.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Mercedes, I guess. Okay, so we are back. I hope you guys enjoy your break. Okay, so are we back?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, so let's continue with these chapters and see if we can wrap her up earlier than expected. So we're talking about how to schedule new patients. So that's basically what it is. When we talk about established patients, it's a lot easier. Because remember, we already have most of the information. We just need to know what is the reason for the visit and just to place them on the day and the time that they want to come, if there is availability for that particular time frame. Other than that, we have some options for our patients. When we have patients, when we are new patients, we also not only just gonna ask them to register to get the personal information, most of the information that we need, but we also send them or prepare them a package, meaning there's lots of papers that they have to read and they have to sign and they have to complete. So most of the time, because the appointments usually we don't do it from one day to the next, they're gonna have plenty of time, like 2, 3, 4, 5 days, maybe a week before they come to our office. We want them to bring certain documentation. So that's basically what it is. So we're gonna tell them what we need them to bring for the day of the visit. Now, this information can be sent via email. Remember, if they don't have an email, we might send it by mail, but it has to be certified mail. Remember, we have to have documentation that we send this particular mail, and certified mails are good because when the mail is delivered to the person that is intended to receive this mail, they have to sign a receipt that they received the mail. So we have that. So we have a proof that the patient materials or forms or package of information before they come to the office has been delivered. So that's basically what it is. Now, there is important also to ask the patient if the patient is coming to see us based on a referral, or the reason that we're going to see our patient might need a referral. So we want to see if they remember, most of the patients are new patients in our office, but they are probably being seen someone else. So we have to take all that in consideration. So the patient has been seeing someone else and then come to see our doctor in our office, they might want, that might be a referral. They might have a cardiologist. They might have an orthopedics or a rheumatologist or a GYN doctor, whoever they've been seeing them before. So we need to know if, if we have to do a referral for that, or was a referral the one that is taking our patient, that is sending the patient to our place, so that we have to ask questions. So that's important. Now, if that was a referral, we have to send a note, like a thank you letter to that person, or a thank you note, or an email. Remember, we work in conjunction with other medical providers. Remember, this is like, again, anatomy and physiology, our body. The systems, the organs works together. If one fail, the other ones start failing too. But when we have a doctor who is referring their patients to us, we might end up referring our patients to them. Now, that is as a courtesy, not because we are being compensated, because that will be illegal. We will discuss that in law and ethics. But yes, as a courtesy, professional courtesy, we're going to send them a thank you note or message for referring their patients to our office. Remember, they're giving you business. Now, it says right here, remember that I mentioned before, the last part right here, confirm the appointment the day before. So that means that we have to call the patient, remind the patient that they have an appointment, particularly if it is our new patients. They are not used to. They probably were seeing someone else. Now they're switching. So we have to call them, regardless whether it's new or established patients. But these ones, we tend more the risk of losing them. And this is 1 hour appointment. So we need these clients. Remember, this is business. So think about that all the time. So that's what is important for new patients, because these people have a lot of stuff. So we're going to ask them to bring the insurance, a photo ID, any referrals if they have one from the prior doctor, any medical records if they have something. In, they don't have a electronic medical records, but they have paper medical records. It's going to be a great help for us because we don't have to start from scratch. Or we're going to get the information from the patient when the patient comes to us. And we're going to request this information because the patient has to sign a release of information so the other doctor can send the information to the new doctor. So a lot of stuff going on when we are dealing with new patients, remember. So we have to take in consideration that. Now you have an established patient and they come on and they have an in-person registration. They're going to make their appointments themselves. They're not calling over the phone. They just come. Well, then it's going to be very simple. Or they come to make an appointment because they haven't shown up to our office for a long time. If they don't do it over the phone, they can do it in person. Or that can be done also. But the time that they finish with the doctor, they see the doctor, and the doctor wants to see them in 2 weeks, in 3 weeks for blood results or something else. So we gotta give them an appointment. So they do it at the end of this visit. Today's visit, they're gonna have an appointment if the doctor wants to see them back again. Other than that, the doctor is gonna tell them, well, you can make your own appointment whenever you feel like you wanna come. There's no need for us to ask the patient to give an appointment because there were no labs, there was nothing pending. So if it's something is going to be ordered, something is going to be pending, some results has to be given, some tests has to be done, then we're going to give them a follow-up appointment. So that's basically what it is. So we're going to go through the same process as we did over the phone. We're going to give the patient choices. Remember, the day, the time, and, date, day, and time. So we're always going to be, very concerned about availability. We're going to give them an appointment card. Remember, I show you already. So that's basically what it is. You have to be very courteous. Once again, we want these patients to come back. Think about business. By telephone, same thing. This is just over the phone. Patients calling, we're making an appointment for the patients, not a problem. We're going to offer the same choices. So remember, when the patient comes in or the patient calls over the phone, we are going to verify whether there is any changes on their profile. under patient's information. Remember, usually things happens. The numbers have been changed, patients have moved, addresses have changed, emails, last name, they got married, they got divorced, who knows? So we got to be on top. The insurances have changed. Things do not stay the same way all the time. So we have to make sure that we keep the patient's information up to date. Remember, scheduling other types of appointments, inpatients procedures. Now, pay attention to this. Inpatients versus outpatients. So outpatients means, remember, this patient that comes to our office and after the procedure or the examination, whatever happens during the patient's doctor's visit, patient is gone, patient goes home. This is an inpatient procedure. The patient needs to be admitted into the hospital or this particular facility. So we got to make sure that we're gonna do the pertaining arrangements for this procedure to take place. So it is our job, the office staff job, to make all the arrangements when a patient is gonna have a procedure and it has to remain in the hospital due to a surgical procedure. Even though if it is, remember, inpatient means you are staying overnight, at least for 24 hours. More than 24 hours is called inpatient. You spend the night over there because after a surgical procedure, what is it that we have to do? We have to do observation. We have to see that nothing happens after the procedure is done. So we got to keep the patient under observation. So we're going to get all the information from the patient, all the documentation that is necessary to send to the other part, to the other end, to the place where the procedure is going to be done, because we have that information. We're going to tell the patient how to prepare themselves for the procedure. So we got to give some instructions. We got to tell the patient what should the patient bring to the inpatient procedure, what documentation should bring, how to dress, and so on and so forth. So that is crucial for us to give accurate, information to the patient. So when the patient goes for the procedure and comes, and the procedure is over, the patient is going to have everything that they need. Outpatients, see? The difference between outpatients and inpatients is outpatients, you come and go the same day. Inpatients, you're going to stay for more than 24 hours. You're going to be admitted to the place. You're staying there. So that is very important. It's outpatient and inpatient procedure appointments. So once again, it's almost like overlapping on what we said already. We have to call the facility. We have to make arrangements for the place. We need to make sure that the place have, available the equipment, the personnel that's going to be doing the procedure, the room where the procedure is going to be done. So it is important. This is not like you're going to show up and say, hey, listen, I'm here because I want you to do this procedure. No, this takes some type of preparations prior to do this. So again, that's basically what it is. The rest we're not to worry because every situation changes. Depends what is the procedure, where is the procedure is going to be done. How long do we expect the patient to be in observation? So that's something that we cannot determine until we know but the fundamentals, the basics are those that we have to call the facility, make sure that, we have the appointment for them. In other words, then this place is prepared, that is expecting this patient for this procedure. So they have the room available, the equipment is available, and the professionals that are going to do the procedure are available for this patient. So that's basically how it works. This is an appointment. So we got to give all the details to the patient so the patient can get the job done without any interruptions. Physician's orders. Now, again, if the patient is going to go to get the procedure, to pick up a prescription, anything, it's the doctor who gives those orders. Yes, probably you're going to be handing the paper to the patient, but who orders, who decides what has to be done to the patient and he signs that document, it's going to be the physician. And usually, not usually, in general, these orders needs to be written down. Has to. Whether it's an outpatient or an inpatient, whether the patient is going to admit it or not, all these orders needs to be filled, completed by the medical doctor and signed by the medical doctor. So that's basically what it is. So usually the medical doctors, that was kind of back in the days, very seldom nowadays, we follow these particular protocols, techniques of writing down stuff on a prescription pad, just the way that we write the medications. And one of these prescription pads, we write down, okay, this patient needs this. Well, now things have changed. Now we have formats. We have templates. If we need a surgical procedure, we have to fill out some forms, not just to write it down in a little prescription pad. This is more like serious, more professional to do a format for these procedures. Think about when the doctor orders an MRI, sonogram, CAT scans, X-ray, any of these particular procedures. Well, a colonoscopy, an endoscopy, a biopsy, they're going to give you a form. They're going to give you an order. That's an order, a form that is filled out with all the patient's details and the condition or the reasons why this patient needs this procedure. Because remember, these documents are going to go through insurance, and they're going to determine then whether we pay or not for these services. So showing a prescription pad written down by the doctor probably is not going to be the way that, it's not going to look too professional. So that's basically what it is. For a simple thing, maybe, but something is a little more serious, particularly in patients, it has to be completing some forms. So that will be the doctor's orders. See, the doctor give you an order to draw blood from the patient. They give you a requisition form. Patient's information is there. The labs or bloods or whatever needs to be collected from the patient is there. So you just have to follow those orders. Basically, that's how it works. And this is kind of a very basic level. But if something has to be done a higher level, when there is more risk, well, these forms needs to be used. And not just these forms. You have to have a written consent, informed consent that is given to the patient as well. Or the patients have to agree or disagree whether they want to do this procedure or not. So there's a lot of things going on. It's not simple. We don't just ask the patient, go to this place and tell them that I sent you. No, that doesn't work that way. This is a serious matter. This is the life of our patients. There are legal consequences for not doing the right thing. So just think about it. Serious appointments. So that means that the patient might need more than one visit. They might not need just only different appointments to come to this doctor different times, but to see different specialists. So again, some patients need a series of appointments for repeat or continued treatments. So you're gonna go for this, then you're gonna come next week for this. So we're giving them few or several appointments. All depends on what procedure needs to be done, needs to be repeated, or it is continuous and it cannot be done in one time, in one visit. So we're gonna do that. And we're gonna give the patient, remember, these particular reminders, these appointment cards. Remember, you have to give it, that has to be a document that we're gonna give to the patient. This is like the receipt that we get from the stores, from something that we purchase. So it's going to be a proof that I paid for that I went for that I got that. Something that shows, because in the court of law, that's what it works. But if we don't function like that, then how we can prove things? We saw these cards already. You got to get familiar with these cards when you give appointments. They look like a little business card. So that's basically what it is, with the logo of, of the office, address, telephone number, email, the name of the doctor or the name of the office, and then to whom this appointment is going to, full name, date, and time. We went through this already, so you have an idea of what I'm talking about. You might have to be writing one of these reminding cards for the patients for appointments. It's very important that we do. Outside visits. Now, this is like the house calls that we call. Doctors might see the patients outside of the clinic, might go visit them at their homes or the nursing homes or the rehab center. So whatever the case may be, if it is outside of the office or the hospital where usually the patient comes, but they are not able to do it, then we have to go see them whenever they are. So that's basically very important. So we have to have appointments for these people. You're not going to go see, as a medical doctor, someone that you don't have an appointment for. And we have to have the information. It's like when we give the patients an appointment and they are calling you over the phone or making an appointment online through the patient's portal. We're going to give them all the information that they can reach our office when they come for the visit. So the same goes for the medical doctor. We have to give all the information so the doctor can go and do these house calls or other facility visits for their patients. Remember, we have to take in consideration the distance. Where are we located? Where are our patients located? How long it's going to take? So you have to set up these appointments accordingly. You have 2, 3, 4 appointments, 2 house calls or visits. You're not going to put one back to back because, hey, when you leave one place, the other one is far away. So it makes sense, right? We're going to have all the equipment needed for the particular visit. So we have to do it. We have to prepare. The doctor is going to be seeing this patient. It's going to need a stethoscope. It's going to need a blood pressure cuff. It's going to probably need some tubes to draw blood, some EKG machine to do it, because we have all these things portal, some labs to be collected. So we need to prepare all the supplies and equipment that is needed for the patient to do their job, or for the doctor to do their job. So it makes sense. Special circumstances. Okay, late patients. So this is not rare. We're gonna have late patients all the time. So we need to deal with these patients. So how are we gonna deal with these patients? When the patients are late, it's because they have an appointment, remember. If they walk in, we cannot call a patient that you're late. So it doesn't work that way. It's for patients who makes appointments and they are not on time for their appointments. That is being late. Now, if it is a situation, like traffic, but that cannot be happening all the time. Because remember, if you have to travel to this office, remember, we already told the patient, hey, it's very difficult for parking around here. So you got to be prepared. Take public transportation. Taking public transportation might be a problem. Maybe bring your car. So you got to be earlier. So you have to, leave the patient your place earlier so you can have plenty of time. So always we have to tell the patient what our policies are. If you come late, you might be rescheduled. We're not promising you that your appointment is going to go. So ask them. So I mentioned it already, when you have these patients that are, chronic, habitually late patients, well, you're going to tell them that to arrive 30 minutes before, but that's not going to work. So what does work is whenever the patient that is late most of the time, this is what you're going to do, because this is questions for exam. You're going to give the patient the latest appointment of the day. The latest appointment of the day. So the patient doesn't have to be nagging us. Oh, well, when they're going to see me, I came at this time. No, you're going to have the latest because you're always late. So we're going to give plenty of time. You don't give them the first time in the morning because they're going to be late. And they kind of back up your patient's flow. So you give the patient the latest appointment of the day. Think about that. If you Okay, so I'm not even gonna go there again. Same thing. Okay, so late patients. Remember, questions for exam for late patients. Patients that are habitually late, they are always late. When they request for an appointment, you are going to give them the latest of that particular day. If it is at 4, you're gonna offer just the only time that you have is this one. Period. That's how you're gonna work it out. Okay? So that's something that you have to take on from this. Reschedule, cancel appointments. Now, you're gonna do exactly what you do when the patient calls for an appointment. Reschedule the appointments. You're gonna remove the original appointment before you're rescheduling the other one, because otherwise you're gonna have 2 slots being taken by the patient. You're gonna open up one, and then you're gonna close one account, and you're gonna open the next appointment. Remember, but sometimes we just move on and do that, and it turns out that the other spot that we can use it for someone else is gonna be still taken by the patient that have already canceled. So canceling appointments, and you have to document it in the medical record of the patient. Patient reschedule, patient cancel the appointment. Because if something happens, it was the responsibility of the patient that cancels, not that we didn't give them an appointment, it's that they cancel. If something happens to them, it's because they didn't make it. They didn't come to our office, not because we did not schedule them. So we didn't abandon them. So that's basically what it is with this rescheduling. So we're not gonna ask the reasons, remember, why you didn't show up to the appointment, why you have to cancel. No, you don't do any of those. You just reschedule. Sure, not a problem. What day are you available? Oh, this day. Morning, afternoon. That's it. And you remove the prior or the original appointment for this patient. So we have this spot open for someone else. Emergency calls. Now, unless we are the emergency, then we will make an appointment for them. Other than that, we don't. Remember, if it is an emergency, we're just gonna record that it was an emergency. We're gonna write down all the actions that it took us to manage this situation. So again, if it is over the phone and it is an emergency, we have to get all the details, symptoms, and we have a directory over there for answering these emergency calls. And remember, we're gonna request if they have some other persons, an adult person that can give us more information just in case something happened to the patient. But the first thing that we do, we collect the patient's name, the phone number, and the location. So that's basically what it is. All the time, conducting ourselves in a very professional manner. Acute ill patients. Now, this kind of goes hand to hand with emergency situations. What are you going to bring a patient, an acute patient is suffering something at this time? What are we going to bring them into the office? We're not going to be able to do anything. So try to do what you did for the emergency calls and then do the pertaining decision. Remember, when these situations occurs, in order for you to determine if this is a real an emergency or it's an acute condition for the patients, you have to get the doctor involved. That's basically what it is. And for that reason, you have to follow the policies of your organization, the policy manual, to see what is it that you're gonna do. Remember, in doctor's offices, we don't take care of these patients because we don't have the equipment, we don't have the personnel, we don't have the supplies. We don't have medications over there. So there is not much we can do. Now, if they get kind of very sick when they are in the office, that's a different issue. Then we're going to take them to a spare exam room and notify the doctor so the doctor can, do whatever it has to be done. Now, if it is an urgent care, that will be a different issue. If it is a hospital, the emergency, that's a different issue. They try to, make arrangements for them in a different fashion. But we're talking about in our offices. Physician referrals. It is so important to keep, this relation with other colleagues and other offices, with other doctors. It's not that a primary care physician is gonna refer the patient unless the patient moved to another area and the doctor that they are seeing right now is not convenient for them, commute-wise. So then they can refer them to us. But most of the time is specialties. Because if I'm not a specialty doctor, then I'm gonna, look for specialty offices and send my patient over there. And we're always gonna thank them, and we're gonna take priority. When we have patients that comes with the referrals, we take care of them first. Because this is a kind of favor that somebody is doing to us, is sending us clients. So we're gonna do something so this person can continue sending us the clients. It makes sense. So we're gonna get all the information from the office who's referring to, and well, the doctor will call them, not us. This is not our job. So the doctor who is being, receiving the referral should, call or send a message to the doctor. Usually a call, a phone call will be enough. Just thanks them, but that goes beyond us. The point here is that you as a medical assistant, you have to do referrals. And referrals means, that you're gonna write a information to where the patient should go to receive certain services if we do not offer those services. Or we receive people from other organizations, other institutions, other facilities through a referral, because they refer particularly to us. It's not that the patient randomly select us through the directory from the insurance or online. They found, oh, I'm gonna be seeing this doctor. No, somebody in particular is sending them to us. So we have to give some priority to this one. It says honor requests for fast scheduling to those patients. So that's what we do. We're gonna try to accommodate the best that we can. So that's what's done. Somebody referring those patients to us. Patients without appointments. Well, these are walk-in patients. Remember, if they are walk-in patients, we have to tell them, the time frame for them to be seen. And we are going to kind of recommend them that it will be to their best interest to make appointments so they can be seen that particular time. So again, it says right here, if the patient doesn't need to be seen immediately, schedule for the first available time. Well, patients can just walk in. If we take walk-ins, then we put them in if we have time available. If we don't, then we offer the closest appointment available. Of course, if I'm stopping by your offices because I'm going to see you. So we're going to try to accommodate you. So again, we're going to tell them that if that's what it says on the bottom right here, make the patient aware of the appointment policy. Meaning, if you make an appointment, then it is different if you don't make an appointment. The waiting time is going to be different. So that's basically what it is. So we gotta be aware of all these situations. So you're not gonna be asked in particular about the thing. Remember, late patients, definitely they're gonna ask what you're gonna do. And what are you gonna do when the patient do not show up or when the doctor do not show up? When the doctor is late, you have to inform the patients, remember, that the doctor is gonna be late. So you're gonna make excuses for the doctor. You gotta make your office look professional. You're not gonna say, well, the doctor is running late. So what are we gonna do? No, you're gonna say that the doctor is running late because of something. You're gonna make it up. And you're gonna offer these patients to reschedule if they have made an appointment. So that's what we gotta do. Fail appointments or no show. This is another question for exam. But it's simple. NS stands for what? No show. That's what you're gonna write down on the patient's spot when they do not show up to the appointment. They didn't cancel. They did not. If they cancel, you put cancel. But if the patient do not show up, you put NS. That means no show. So remember, NS, no show. Meaning this patient did not call, he just didn't show up. We were expecting, because if the patient didn't call to cancel, we're expecting the patient, right? Then the patient did not show up at all. So what is it that we're gonna do? Well, we're gonna contact the patient. Once again, we're not gonna contact the patient to tell them, to scold them, oh, why you didn't show up? You have to be responsible. Yeah, no, these are things are out of, context. So you're gonna tell them, oh, well, I see here, according to our records, I see here, Mr. Brown or Mrs. Brown, that, you missed this appointment. When would you be able to come to our office? Should Wednesday be good for you? Then you jump. You want these patients to say something. You want to put them in. Remember, we are protecting our business. This is not like any regular store. If something happens to the patient and we do not offer to reschedule and something happened medically to this patient, we are going to pay the consequences. That's called abandonment. So again, NS means no show when you are doing appointments. Remember, the patient's supposed to cancel at least 24 hours. The more that if it's possible, 48 hours, that will be excellent because we have more time to use this time to give it to someone else. We discussed that already. We're gonna tell the patient, because we have to discuss all these at the time that the patient registers for the first time and from then on. Because whatever I discussed to you this first time, the first time that you sign up to be our patient, you're not gonna remember everything. But we are going to be reminding them because we have certain policies in our office that if you do not show up for cancellations, we do not charge. Cancellations 24 hours prior. But if you do not show up, chances are that your policy or your organization, 99% will charge you for that visit that particular day. And patients are not going to be happy. Remember, most of the time, they might have to pay. Or the insurance is going to contact them. Why they keeping on failing and we have to pay for the appointments that you're not meeting. So again, we are going to reschedule this patient. So whenever you have a case of cancellation or no shows, you're gonna reschedule. Patients that are continuously late, they are chronically late, you're gonna put them on the last hour of your appointment. So the last schedule, last slot that you have there. because you know they're gonna be late if you give them an early appointment. So don't waste your time. Other types of appointments, other physicians. Remember, you're gonna be sending your patient to a physician. That's like giving them a referral. Pharmaceutical, other physicians, meaning other physicians coming to your office to discuss whether they're gonna discuss the same patient. They have a patient in common. I refer my patient to you. You're a cardiologist. You come to see me, or a doctor that I need for a second opinion about something. So when physicians comes to our office and they make an appointment, said I want to be, well, learn the policies of your organization. It might not be just a phone call. They just want to come to talk to the doctor. So it's going to take some time. So know the policies, how you deal with physicians who wants to make an appointment. And usually you make the appointments and you do it. The sooner of the availability that you have to give to them and the time that they are available. These are doctors that wants to talk to the other doctor. This is like a phone call. You pass it through. Most of the doctors, you don't have to put them on hold. You just transfer the call. Remember these pharmaceutical reps, you must make appointments for them. Remember, they're going to show up to your office and they want to be taken care of, but you're going to tell them. But ask your doctor how they deal with pharmaceutical reps. So be careful. Don't take things upon yourself. Oh, these pharmaceutical reps, I'm not gonna let them in. Oh, I'm gonna let, no. You have to see how, what is the policy in your own office. If I tell you, then you can ask questions. You don't need to ask the doctor directly. You can ask the office manager, hey, how you deal here making, with the pharmaceutical reps? When they come here, you just let them go in. What's the doctor's policy, right? These patients, this type of patients, these referrals, always ask questions because you're learning. Salespeople, just like pharmaceutical reps, they are salesmen, but these are selling medications, which the doctors are interested. Salespeople are people who comes to sell equipment, offer something that might be convenient or needed in the office. So that's basically what it is. Any other miscellaneous colors? Remember, in an office, there is a lot of stuff that is being offered. We have in the doctor's offices these sonogram technicians that offer the services. So they come to the office once a week, and then we schedule all of those patients for the particular time that these particular, persons coming to do these particular procedures. So a lot of stuff. Contractors. You might have contractors calling in. So you want to know insurance companies. I'm not taking your insurance. So the insurance company calls me and see if I want to sign up for this insurance. So I can take patients for those insurance that I'm not taking. So anything can happen, but you just need to know who's calling and what is the reason that they are calling and take a message. Most definitely, you have to be able to take a message all the time. Planning for the next day. Now, as a medical assistant, if you're in the front desk, if you're the only one, or if you're the new kid on the block, probably you have to do a lot of stuff. So you have to make sure what is the policies, what is it that we do at the end of the day, what we do at the beginning of the day. So at the end of the day, you have to verify that all the electrical equipment that doesn't need to be connected, you should be shutting it down, disconnecting them, turning them off. Pulling all the medical records, if it is paper, so for the next day, printing out the appointments for each doctor or all the list of that patients that are going to be seen at the next day, you have to do it the prior day, the day before. So again, this is how it works. If you have any correspondence that you have received, any lab reports, you got to make sure that they are inside the patient medical records or inside the inbox reports. The same as the incoming messages, incoming reports, incoming letters. Whatever it needs to be done, you have to get all that information there. You might be closing the office, so make sure that, if you have a security surveillance, cameras open, you might have to open it at night if you don't have them running all the time. And in the next morning, you're going to come and do the same. Turn on all the machines that you need to be working with and making sure that, taking the message, playing back the message, the voicemail or whatever systems that you're using to see who have called, take the message and put in the incoming box to each one that, this message needs to be delivered to. So it's a lot of stuff, turning on the computers, getting everything ready for that day, checking the doctor's office that they have all these forms, referrals, so they don't have to be calling us all the time. So they have plenty of papers, forms right there on their desk. So there's a lot of stuff going on. So that's how it works. That is it. We have summarized almost everything. So that, making appointments, maybe having a scheduling system is very, very important. The phones, how to use the phones, how to receive calls, how to make calls. It's very important. We have to keep privacy, confidentiality, remember. You have to take in consideration, all these types of appointments that we make. So we got to be familiar with that. But the most important thing is being familiar with the policies of your organization. Which types of appointments, scheduling systems they use, or types of appointments that they use, whether they take new patients or whether they don't, when are they going to be seeing the new patients during the day, what days, what are the office hours? So get familiar with that. Remember, calling those patients, rescheduling those patients, reminding those patients before the appointment, rescheduling those patients who canceled, those patients who did not show up, and documenting everything that happens during the particular day at work. So that's basically what it is. Any questions? Well, we're done with this chapter. We're going to leave it there. That was a lot of information. So just for you to remember. Remember appointments, type of appointments, open offices, open hours. Remember walk-ins, double booking, two people or two patients book at the same time. This specific time or stream scheduling, specific time scheduling. Remember, patient is assigned one particular time, and that's the time that they're going to be seen. So that cluster, there is a group of procedures or conditions for these patients that we're going to see this particular day or this particular time. Very important. Giving them a reminding card, for the appointment. Calling them 24 hours prior to remind them that they have an appointment so they miss the appointment. Rescheduling, we talk about that. So that's basically what it, being professional. Try to do your best to accommodate the patient for the time that they have available, but without, stretching too much. Okay. So we're done for today. You guys have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy the rest of the night. Probably, it's a lot of things going on outside with the little kids, with the Halloween. Enjoy your Halloween. And I'll be seeing you Monday.
Thank you so much. Get home safe, Professor.
Oh, likewise. Thank you, Mercedes. Thank you, everyone, for attending the class. Well, gonna be good. This coming week, we are done with this module and we're gonna start something else. So we are moving. We're moving. All right, guys. Good night. Have a nice weekend.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you. Thank you,
Good night.
everyone. Good night. Good night.